Hello and welcome back for another episode of Straight Talk. My name is Nicki Shields and this is the midpoint of the season. So we thought this would be a good moment to talk about the tracks that we've got to look forward to. We've got some old tracks that are coming back. We've also got some new tracks to get excited about. And of course, joining me for this episode is Alex and Alexander. Guys, welcome back for another episode. We're going to be talking all about the tracks today. Now we're here in Puebla, which is obviously a new track. We're in Mexico City, kind of southeast of Mexico City. We've raced in Mexico City so many times. It's a place that we love coming back to, but this is a brand new track. What can we expect from here? Because it's a kind of combination, isn't it, of a traditional purpose-built circuit and a street circuit.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. It's obviously new for everyone. There's a few characteristics that are quite unusual for Formula E, like having a banked last corner, a lot of long combined corners. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Still at altitude, obviously, that affects the car quite a lot. And yeah, just look forward to a good old weekend. And
so sort of half the track is this oval, sort of with a bit of a bank going round, and then the other half we've kind of created inside the oval. Alexander, what can we sort of expect? You know, what's the track surface like? What temperatures are we going to expect this weekend?
Well, I think firstly the combination of it being a permanent circuit but lined with walls through most of it, as I understand. We haven't actually been able to do a track walk yet, so I don't know too much about the tarmac surface and things like that. But it gives you the mix of long duration corners that you would have on a more permanent circuit, but then with walls, and so the risks are going to be fairly high. I think in a few corners you're going to be going quite fast, and so if you get it a little bit wrong, the potential for a large time loss or potentially even some damage is going to be quite high. So that's going to be something we're going to have to manage. And those long duration corners put a lot of stress on the tyres, and with the radiation that we get from the sun here, I think it's going to make the tarmac surface very hot, even if the ambient temperature is only 20-25 degrees. So that's going to put extra stress on the tyres, which is going to make the qualifying lap and the race maybe a bit more tyre focused than energy focused than we've had in some of the previous races.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned the kind of type of heat, because we're currently sitting in the sun in the front of the garage. It is about 25 degrees, but it feels a lot hotter than that, doesn't it? The sun feels really strong. So that, I guess you can't just look at the temperature. You need to actually look at, what are the conditions of the sun, how it's beating down on the track, and what kind of effect that will have. Yeah, of course, which does obviously change things a bit. So Puebla is a brand new circuit for season 7, but one track that we're going to be going to very soon is New York, of course, in Brooklyn, and we're returning there for the 4th time in the history of Formula E. I think this is a track that everyone absolutely loves returning to. It's a really iconic location. You can see the backdrop of New York City. You can see the Statue of Liberty. Alex, you had a phenomenal, debut in Formula E with a pole position in your first race in New York.
Yeah, no, I did. That was a cool event. It's obviously such an iconic city, so cool for Formula E, just a great place to be. Yeah, super excited.
Yeah, Alexander, do you share the same views?
Yes, yeah, I think it's the track itself is good fun. Both of us have had pretty decent success there.
You had your first podium there.
I did.
First pole as well,
position,
yeah.
First podium. Was racing Alex for a part of the race until something occurred and he just pulled off ahead of me. I can't remember why, but that was an easy position gain. Thanks very much, mate.
It was inverter failure.
Yeah, that was as I drove past, it was like,
C'est la vie, yeah.
That didn't look good. And yeah, I remember the day after the race actually going around the city, cycling around, seeing some of the sights, and yeah, it's just one of the many pinch yourself moments that you have in Formula E, where you race in these amazing cities, beautiful backdrops, iconic landmarks, and then you're actually racing on the streets.
And in addition to racing in the street, which is obviously the number one priority, what do you do away from the racetrack when you're in New York? Any recommendations? Any places that you love to go to?
Well, what are you looking for, Nicki?
Well, I'd quite like a little cocktail bar, maybe on the roof, a nice backdrop.
I'm sure you already know all of them, Nikki. You don't need any of our.
All right, I'll take you there after the race.
So from Times Square, if you go southeast 3 blocks, there's a nice. Anyway.
I genuinely thought you were going to come up with a good suggestion there.
Where one is actually, but I don't know it well enough to actually say
No,
it.
there are too many places, aren't there?
Rooftop bars, very nice in New York. I've scouted it out, as you'd expect.
Fingers crossed you get to enjoy those this time round while we're in New York. Then after New York, we will be heading to London. Double header race in London. We haven't raced in London since season 2, so it's amazing to be going back there. Obviously it's a brand new track. We used to race in Battersea Park. Now we're going to be racing at the XL Centre, and the track is this sort of part indoor, part outdoor circuit, and it's going to be a home race for both of you for the first time, which is exciting too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really cool. Also, the circuit layout, I'm sure it's going to be spectacular. Big event for Formula E coming back to London. A lot of the teams like home race in terms of where we're based, so that'll be really cool. You know, personally, it's my home city, it's where I live, so that's really, really special.
And Alexander, you're going to have lots of family there supporting, cheering you on.
We don't give it any tickets.
Probably not, no. But I'm sure they'll be there in spirit and watching on the TV. My brother doesn't live too far away, and yeah, I grew up in Clapham. And so yeah, it's somewhat surreal to be faced with actually racing pretty much on the streets of London. And yeah, it'll be nice to be able to get home on Sunday night, just driving home. That'll be a nice aspect. And I think, you know, travelling as well, especially in these times with COVID around, it's actually, yeah, it's going to be nice to be local for once.
And it's kind of the first time, I mean, we sort of did it in Berlin a few years ago, but really it's the first time that the cars are going to be driving through an indoor stadium. You know, that part of the track is really quite cool. It's quite unique. We haven't really seen it before in Formula E. Do you think that brings like a new added excitement to the race?
Yeah, I think it's probably going to add a few variables that we haven't had to consider. I'm just thinking now, you know, part of the track will be, if it is sunny, say, will be hot, and part indoors will not be so warm, and so your tyre energy through your qualifying lap will be different to normal, or even if it's wet outside and dry inside, that'll be somewhat bizarre as well, you know, slowly traipsing water through and making some of the indoor circuit wet, and yeah, very strange.
I'm probably going to quickly say, apologise to anyone listening if you can hear that banging. I think that just shows the authenticity that we are at a racetrack and that it is still being built. I think there are some guys putting the grandstands together and got their hammer out, that's for sure. Well, let's move on to Berlin, where season 7 will end. Now, it's obviously where season 6 also ended, but we had that epic couple of weeks where we had 6 races in 9 days at the end of season 6. So it is a track that you guys must know really well now. I mean, Alex, you did particularly well in qualifying, I think, in Berlin. Are you looking forward to going back?
Yeah, we didn't do too bad in the race as well, to be fair. No, I am excited. I'm excited for it. It's a circuit I've usually gone well at. Cool city, really cool vibe. I always really enjoy it there. So yeah, I'm really excited to go back to Berlin.
Yeah, I mean, it is a cool location because it's at the Tempelhof Airport, which was, you know, has a special place in history, used for the sort of Berlin airlift. Does that again like add a new element, you know, that when you arrive you're kind of coming in, checking in? I like how I think when you first arrive you do all your driver signatures at sort of the check-in desks, which is quite cool.
Cool. Yeah, it's a cool place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the track surface is kind of special to Berlin, fairly unique in that it's the sort of big concrete paving patches, so it's reasonably bumpy but high grip. And yeah, there's the old Berlin Tempelhof backdrop where you can see the writing on the buildings from when it was used previously. It's yeah, it's got some history.
It is, you know, it's crazy really if you think about it, you know. If you could go back in time and see how it was being used to then turning it into an electric street racing circuit, it's amazing. Another chapter in its history. So, what races would you like to see added to the calendar for season 8? You could pick anywhere. Or maybe you've heard a rumour.
You've got all the rumours, Nick.
Well, I mean,
You already know.
I mean. But I'm not going to say unless you already know.
Well, we took Cape Town. We're thinking there might be one there.
I think we might have a race in Cape Town. I don't know if it will be as early as season 8. This season 8 or season 9.
Canada, maybe? Maybe? Okay. Well, you
Where would you
teed
like
up
to
this
go?
question.
Yeah, you're
and
not
I'm
giving us
trying
anything.
to suggest some ideas, and you're just being silent.
Don't wanna give too
Namibia?
much away. What?
Namibia?
Namibia would be amazing.
Yeah. Tanzania? The base of Kilimanjaro?
Oh, no,
What a
we're
backdrop that
talking.
would be, eh?
Yes.
Okay, right. So base of Kilimanjaro. I've been to the top of that, by the way, just so I let you know.
Likewise, yeah. Stellar point.
You
Have
got to
you
get
done
up to
that?
the top to
No, I didn't ever go on a gap year, sorry.
Too busy racing, yeah. Okay, where would you like to race if you could pick anywhere in the world?
Tokyo. Yeah.
Yeah, proper home for street racing. Guys, as always, absolute pleasure chatting to you, and good luck for the rest of the season, and we will see you very soon for another episode of Straight Talk, and thank you for listening and watching wherever you are in the world.